Hello and welcome back to Crunch Time, a panel discussion about your favorite topic, sports. I'm Alexis Pearson, your host for the night. Next to me are our panelists on the night. To my left here is Joey Erickson, the returning champ off his rookie win. Next to him is Sam Getzinger, and next to him is Blake Tyson. Guys, are you ready for some sports debate tonight?
Yes, for sure.
All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. It was the end of the baseball season here, and the Boston Red Sox ran roughshod through the Dodgers in the World Series, with their only loss being an 18-inning game. Now, the Red Sox had their best season in their storied history, finishing the regular season with 108 wins, and in the playoffs, they were just as good, only losing 3 games throughout the postseason. So, guys, the Red Sox had a great season, but is this the best team in MLB history, Joey?
I think they definitely got to be in the conversation. The way they were able to hit 1 through 9, especially with 2 outs, is pretty amazing. Especially what they did to Kershaw in Game 5. Alex Cora as well, you got to give him props the way he managed them. He put the bullpen guys in the right position every time. And let's just talk about what they did in the playoffs. They're going against the Yankees in the ALDS, and they just pretty much went right through them. And then they played the defending champions, Houston, went pretty much right through them. And then they defeated the 2-time reigning NLCS champions, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think it's pretty amazing the way they did that.
Sam?
Joey, I'm going to go against you here. I don't agree with you. This is not the best team in MLB history. They're close, but just not quite. If you want to talk about that, that's the 98 Yankees. I can go more in depth if you want me to, but let's not even go there. This isn't even the best Red Sox team in their franchise history. Yes, 108 wins, very impressive, but the 2004 Red Sox team, they have to be up there as the best, in my opinion. 98 wins, again, 10 less than the ones now.
All right, we'll have to save that for the rest of the debate. Go to Blake here first.
Well, I'm kind of on the same boat with Joey. They're definitely up there. I think some of the Yankees teams in the early 1920s with Babe Ruth and that kind of era were up there. But, they went 3, you could even say 4 deep at starting pitching. Their big 3 in Price, Sale, and Porcello had 42 total wins, over 600 strikeouts, and under 500 innings total. They're really good at their pitching staff, and I don't know. I just think they're definitely up there. I don't know if they're quite there, but yeah, definitely.
I think it's just really hard to choose because baseball has changed so much over the past even 10 years. The game has changed, and the Red Sox for this era are definitely the way they play the game with the shifts, hitting home runs and stuff like that. It's just, I think that's why.
But if you take that out, the 2004 Red Sox, Ortiz over 40 home runs, Manny Ramirez over 40 home runs. Kurt Schilling, who was still wheeling. Pedro Martinez was still wheeling. All of their starting rotation had over 12 wins. They're very impressive. I think they put them together.
All right, that's all we got time for this one. Sam, I'm going to give this point to you. I think you made the best points. 2004 stats for the Red Sox are kind of hard to argue with. So Sam gets the first point of the night. Let's move on to football. As if the Browns didn't have enough headlines in the past couple years, there's just a couple more things that happened this past week. Head coach Hugh Jackson and offensive coordinator Todd Haley were both fired in the same day. This leaves a lot of questions for the Browns. So was this move good for the Browns, or is this just the same story we've seen over and over again? Sam?
I think the Browns are making all the right moves right now. Firing Hugh Jackson, that's the biggest thing. He was kind of a internal defect in their kind of organization because he didn't have cooperation. That's the word I'm looking for. with any other coaches in his staff, and he wasn't the type to want to develop his players. They're a very young team. They can't be thinking win now, and I think they kind of had that at the start of the season with all these good, Tyrod Taylor, Jarvis Landry. They thought they could win now. I just don't think that, and also with their new interim head coach.
All right, we got to move on to Blake. Sorry.
All right, I disagree with you. I think that. Look, as for what Hugh Jackson is as a terrible NFL head coach, he's only won 3 games, but if you stuck with him going into this season with only 1 win, why cut ties now? You should have done it in the offseason. Now you have an offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens, who's never been an offensive coordinator at any level of football. You cut ties with Todd Haley, who was your offensive coordinator. Hugh Jackson was an offensive mind, so you have somebody running your whole offense with a rookie quarterback who's already been struggling, completing under 60% of his passes.
We got to go to Joey here.
I do not think this was a good idea for the Browns, mainly because it's not good when you have a rookie quarterback like Baker Mayfield in there, and Hugh Jackson is an offensive-minded coach, which is going to help. That wins today. You see it with Sean McAvee. everything's like that. Offensive-minded head coach win in this league, and having instability in the front office and on the field is not going to help your rookie quarterback. And when you go 2-5-1 with a rookie quarterback, that's not too bad when you consider that they played the Steelers twice. They took them to overtime and tied them. And you've played the Ravens and the Saints, who are all in the conversation.
You played the Saints close.
So, I mean, there's no point in just firing your head coach. That's really not the problem here.
I don't think having an offensive-minded coach is that important. Defense wins championship. Williams has a defensive mind. He also has Super Bowl experience.
Why do you think Nick
he's
Foles
been-
won a championship?
he's been
Super
with
Bowl
this
last year.
team. He
Doug
knows-
Peterson is an
he knows his
offensive-minded
players.
coach.
Greg
He
Lynn's
knows
history
how
doesn't
they work.
matter because
He
this
knows
team
how
is
to
so
develop
bad.
them.
Coaches don't
They're not,
win in
I don't
today's
care if he
league.
has.
Just watch.
It doesn't
You
matter if he
just
has Super Bowl
watch.
pedigree
All
because
right,
they're
all
terrible.
right, all right. I didn't catch the last 20 seconds of that conversation, but I'm going to give this point to Joey. I think he made a good point about the rookie quarterbacks and kind of how they've played a lot of close games and a lot of overtime games. So Joey ties up with Sam here. Blake still has yet to get a point, but we have one more topic here before we head to break. So let's switch things up and talk about basketball. So Derrick Rose last night, heard that name before? Well, just when we thought he had nothing left in the tank, he messed around and set a career high in points with 50 in an emotional win for Rose and the Timberwolves. 10 years in the league and many knee surgeries later, Derrick Rose dropped 50. So guys, does this prove that Rose is officially back, and can he keep up with a high level of play? What are your takeaways from the game? What do we see in his future here?
MVP level back? No. But 15 to 18 points a game off of a sixth-man role and getting 20 minutes? Absolutely. What he did with the Knicks when his first year there, he averaged 18 points per game in about 30 minutes, and that was with Carmelo Anthony shooting 25 shots a game. And he's been pretty efficient this year. He's shooting 44%, a career-high 35% from three, which is helping a lot. I think that before his big night, he was still averaging almost 15 points a game. It's up to 19 now. But I think like a 15-point per game thing is certainly within reach, and I think sixth man of the year is kind of his goal.
All right, Joey?
I think that's great. I mean, it's good to see D Rose back out there, had a little pep in his step you haven't seen since his MVP season. I mean, 50 points off 31 shots, pretty efficient, very efficient guy. I mean, it's really good to see him, but by no means is he gonna do this every night or even average 30 points. But I mean, he definitely could win a six-man of the year role if he keeps it going.
I agree with both of you guys. He's back, but he is not back to 2011 material.
For sure.
And the thing that stresses me out a little bit, all these Timberwolves fans saying, okay, trade Jimmy Butler. We don't need him anymore. We have Derrick Rose. If you have Derrick Rose, if he plays even to his 18 points a game caliber that he's at now, add Jimmy Butler, who his team and them don't have chemistry, but he's still putting up numbers. Put those two together and all the other supporting characters, you have a solid team, not a team to make a good playoff run, but a team that could maybe get
there's
that
chemistry issues all over if you keep Jimmy Butler in that locker room.
But he's putting up numbers, and you can't deny
But if no
that.
one wants to
This
play with
helping
him, it's just
him.
not
Yeah,
gonna
if
help
nobody wants to
anybody.
play with him,
It's
it's
not-
not
Hasn't
a
affected
good
him these first
situation.
couple of games.
I
That
mean,
bad.
I think it has.
I mean, Towns has been pretty garbage.
Well,
except
that's
for the
Towns. That's
and
one
they're
guy.
they're 2-1 without Jimmy and 2-3 with Jimmy.
I do think Jimmy should have sat on the bench last night. That was
I
kinda-
think they
That
need to
was a bonehead move.
That was a bonehead move. But Derrick Rose, sixth man of the year. That's my call.
All right. I'm going to give this one to Sam. I think he made a good point about the fact that, he looked good last night, but there's still other pieces that need to play into this for the team to perform well. So coming up after break, we'll head into some hockey talk. Stay tuned.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
well, we're back after break, and in case you missed the first, here's what we have. Sam is in the lead with 2 points. Joey has 1. Blake has yet to get a point, but lots of time left. So let's get right into some hockey. This is my favorite part of the show. So NCHC. The season has started. We're a couple weeks in. We've seen some teams get some performances out of the way. There's a lot of impressive teams so far, the SCSU Huskies being one of them. What do you guys think? Who's doing well? Who's going to keep doing well? And who's maybe a dark horse in this league?
I mean, of course, you got to like St. Cloud, but I'm going to go with the Denver Pioneers. I mean, they're off to a really hot start this season. They've only given up 5 goals so far all season, and I mean, I think they have a really good chance because they're going to have a huge series coming up against St. Cloud here. So I think that might be a big difference, and depending on who wins the NCHC this year.
This is St. Cloud State's year. This is their year to do damage. Yes,
every
UMD
year is their year to do damage.
This is the year of all years, if I had to say so. UMD, Denver, they're there. But this team has so much good talent. 8 of 10 of their top point getters from last season. Nick Perbix is here. Good young D. Spencer Myers here. He led the Fargo Force to the Clark Cup last season in the best junior league. Sam Hench's wild draftee. Did I say Perbix was lightning draftee? He is. Micah Miller, I watched him play in high school. He's so explosively good. He can make a difference in years to come, maybe even at the end of this year too. In their goalie rotation, David Rennick, Jeff Smith, I'd say probably the best combo in college hockey right now. I do like this team.
Blake?
Well, we all know the Huskies are good, but let's fast forward to, March when they play the NCAA championship, and we'll talk about them then because it seems to end every year there. I know, but I said it last year. So my dark horse, though, is Miami. They're off to a 6-2 start. They're ranked 20th in the nation. I know they haven't really beat anybody all that great, but we're talking about a dark horse here. So I'll say Miami.
What does Miami have that,
they're
that St. Cloud doesn't have?
I'm just
they
saying.
took St. Cloud last year.
That was last year.
They still have talent.
They've restocked with young, fresh talent, and this is the team to go far.
But we say
far
this
in March.
every
it's
year,
an
and
obvious
they never
choice
do
there.
it.
We'll just watch.
I want to see him do it. But we said that last year on this show, and I said I want to see him actually do it before I pick him to do anything. Like, I want them to. My heart wants me to.
Rennick has more experience this year, and if they need to, Jeff Smith has more experience this year. Rennick is a Kings draftee. I like this.
Yeah,
team.
we have a new
all right,
coach,
that's
too.
all we got time for that topic. Although it's hard to argue with the logic of Sam saying this could be St. Cloud's year for the 10th year in a row or whatever it is. I'm going to give Blake the point on this one. We said dark horse. Dark horse means unexpected, and I think that's a good team to pick as far as how well they've done so far this year. So let's move on to my favorite topic. That's right, my boy Auston Matthews is unfortunately injured. So he's out with the shoulder injury. Sad. I'm very upset. Is this team going to be okay without him? A lot of people were saying this is the year Auston Matthews needs to bring this team somewhere. He needs to lead this team. He's done well in past years. They have a lot of young talent, but what do you guys think? Are they going to be able to survive without him?
They're fine. He's only gone for like 4 weeks, and that's not even that big of a deal. Their offense will decline slightly, but Tavares and all that will get it figured out. Their defense, though, is the thing that needs to step up. Morgan Riley, Jake Gardner are really going to need to lock down this defensive core for the team, which is something they haven't done yet so far. And also the emergence of Kasperi Kapanen as a first-liner now. He's going to need to be productive like he is now, but just even more. But the big question is, William Nylander, is he going to keep on the holdout, or is he going to come back and help try to fill this hole that Toronto now has? But again, the biggest thing is the defense and if they'll hold up.
Blake?
Yeah, like you brought up the defense. I mean, they've got Gardner and they have Morgan Riley. But outside of that, I mean, their bottom 4 are pretty suspect to say the least. And you brought up Nylander, which is my biggest point. I mean, if they get Nylander figured out, then losing Matthews isn't as big of a deal to me. And you have John Tavares, who is probably a top 15 player in the NHL. So I don't think.
Only top 15?
Well, yeah, right. I don't think that they're really set up to fail at all. They'll drop a couple games that they probably would win without him, but
All right.
they're certainly fine.
Joey?
I agree. I think they'll be just fine. I mean, when you have Tavares and Marner and Riley, you're going to lose some offensive power, but I think where it's going to hurt them the most is definitely going to be the power play because he likes to play in that slot area in the middle of the umbrella, and a lot of pucks flow through him. So they probably on the power play they're not going to be as effective. But again, I think they're totally going to be fine. They're still going to win a ton of games, and they're going to play just as fast without
This
him.
isn't the end of the world for them. They're still going to be making strong
their
playoff
depth
push.
was unbelievable. They had Nazem Kadri as their third-line center. I mean, he should be playing in a top 6 role on most teams, and so you can slide him up and you're fine. But, yeah, I think they're fine. I mean, they'll lose a couple games they shouldn't, like I said, but they're in a pretty weak division. I mean, Montreal's up there right now, but that's probably not going to last. I think that they're fine.
It's just Carey Price.
Yeah.
That's
That's it. And he'll probably get hurt, so it's fine.
All right, well, it may not be the end of the world for them, but it's the end of the world for me because I'm devastated, to say the least. I'm going to give this point to Joey because you make it tough on me, you guys, when you all agree, but Joey brought up a good point about the power play and how that might be a spot that they really suffer in his absence. So let's move on to more hockey, the Minnesota Wild. So they had kind of a rocky start to the season. They took a couple games to OT, lost a couple, but then they come back, and now they've won, I believe it's like 6 or 7. They won 5 in a row. They're looking a lot better. They're healthy. What do you guys think about the Wild? Can they keep up this kind of performance? They're on a very long road trip right now. What do you guys see in the future for them?
Yeah, they're on game 5 of 7 on the road right now, and I think they'll be okay. Like the goaltending has been superb and has kept them in every game this season. Devin Dubnyk's posting a 2.11 goals against average and a 937 save percentage. That's like almost, we're talking Vezina right there if you put that up throughout a season. And they're not getting a lot of depth scoring. Coyle, Niederreiter, Koivu and Greenway have a combined 5 goals, and they've played 12 games. I mean, the secondary scoring needs to come. The guys like Parise, Suter, and Granlund are all averaging a point per game right now, though. So,
all right.
Secondary scoring.
I definitely like the Wild. I mean, they don't play as fast as other teams, like you would say, but I mean, the thing that the Wild are really good at is they can grind out teams and wear you out with the forecheck. They are a third period team, so like if they're down in third period, they're like, oh well, we're going to come back, we're going to force us to OT, and they'll fight to get points. And that's why they're so ranked so high in the Central Division this year so far, is because they've just been able to get games into overtime and give them chances to win. So when you do that, you're definitely going to.
Sam?
Joey, you say they're a third period team, and I agree with you right now, but that's the problem.
That insinuates that they start slow.
They just start so slow. They need more consistency. They need to come out and play a full, hard 60 minutes. Then that 7-3-2 record will look so much better. And I'd say arguably from last year, their biggest problem was physicality and toughness. And then bringing in JT Brown, Eric Fair, that's a good solution for now to kind of get that up. But I say the biggest question, or the biggest thing of them all, Jordan Greenway has probably the greatest potential on this Wild team, coming off a strong year at Boston, averaging over a point per game, and then coming off an Olympic run where he's only one of 3 college athletes on the Olympic team. And there'll be a bubble team this year trying to make the playoffs. They obviously won't make a big run, but with their start now, they're promising.
With the
but
starting slow thing, though, they're 5-1-1 in games where they're scored against first. Like, that's nice to know that you have that at least. Like, you could put the slow starts to the start of the season. You
But
it'd just be so nice.
We got to cut that off there.
Absolutely.
Good arguments, you guys. I'm going to give this one to Sam because he kind of brought up the idea of, okay, they're winning games, but if they don't figure out this whole slow start thing, it's not going to last. So Sam gets the point there. Coming up after a break, we'll talk some more college football. Be right back.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First, I took them to feel better.
That was so awkward. BRB.
Then, I just kept taking them.
Yeah.
I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
But I'm searching for a
Now let's start this third period off with some college football. There's a big rivalry game this week between two of the top 4 teams in the nation. LSU and Alabama matchup. LSU has been turning heads, putting themselves in national championship conversation, but they're going to have to get past TSU and the Crimson Tide, or Alabama and the Crimson Tide. Huge playoff matchup implications here, guys. Naturally, Alabama's the favorite, but LSU's been winning some quality games, so can they pull it off? What are your thoughts, you guys?
I'm actually going to take LSU in this one because I think they are coming off some really hot games, obviously, and I think they're going to come into this game roaring, and I think they're going to be able to take down Tua Tagovailoa. It's hard to say his name, but I think their defense, Tagovailoa. But I think they can. I think they're going to go in there. They're going to put on the hype down, and they're going to give it to Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide.
See, I like that, Joey, but this is the hardest team Alabama will play all year. They haven't really played anybody. They played a couple top 25 and just rolled over them, but there's no way LSU comes out of this with a win. There's just no way. Tua's going to win the Heisman. He's going to lead this Alabama team to an undefeated regular season, #1 seed in the playoffs, and probably win the thing. If you think about it, they're so good. Their lowest point total this year is 39 points, and they still won that game by 29 points. That's crazy. Their consistency on both sides of the ball, they're so balanced. They can beat you on defense. They can beat you on offense.
Gotta go Blake here.
Like you said, they're probably going to win the national championship anyway, but they'll get in the playoff even if they lose this game, which is why I'm picking LSU, okay? Like you said, Alabama hasn't played anybody very good. They've only played one top 25 team. That's number 22, Texas A&M. And outside, if you take away Texas A&M, they've played their hardest defense. Their hardest defense they've played was ranked 80th in the nation. Mississippi State was not ranked, I looked. And the toughest offense they played was 20th. So they're not playing anybody that's really like that great defensively. So they're hanging up points. Tua's lighting it up. I'm not going as far to say Heisman, but LSU is 3-0 against teams in the top 10. Like I'm taking LSU.
Yeah, but they got rolled over by Florida. And
Florida's not a bad team.
They're not top 10 caliber.
They're top 25.
And when you play Alabama team, they're not even the best Alabama team in the past 10 years.
I just
and they're
think
still
they don't
putting
play
up
any
a
hard.
I would say they're the best college football team.
They don't play any hard non-conference games.
No,
but
they play nobody. Oh, they're really good. They're really good. I'm thinking LSU beat them, but I think Alabama's a better team.
We're going to have to cut this off here. I'm going to give this one to Blake. I think you made a good point about the competition they faced and all that stuff. So coming up next, with that being said, we have the big crunch, and the first college football rankings are out. Alabama sits in #1, Clemson at 2, Notre Dame at 3, and LSU rounding out the top 4. Our first rankings on the season, guys. What do you think of the committee's picks? Who's left out, and do you expect things to shake up after this week?
Well, obviously, my #1 would be Alabama. That's depending if they do beat LSU here. If they lose, then they'll probably drop to 2 or 3 or something. Not a huge deal. I have Clemson in there as my #2 right now. Undefeated. They fought through the quarterback controversy. That's good. If Georgia wins out their season, they do have tough competition. I think they can sneak in there as well. Notre Dame, if they drop a game, they're out. But if they go undefeated, they're my #4. To win it, I'm going with Georgia. I really like their quarterback, Jake Fromm. Over 1,600 yards this season, 16 touchdowns, great receiving core, great rushing core. Yes, that loss to LSU hurts, but it's just kind of a minor detail right now looking at the season LSU has put up so far.
So you brought up Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame will get in because they don't play a conference championship, and I personally value that a lot.
Yeah, they're 0-0 in conference plays. Shut you, Miles.
Alabama gets in no matter what happens, I think, if they finish with one loss. Like, if they lose in the conference championship, I think they're in. If they lose to LSU and don't play in a conference championship, I think they're in. Let's say they lose. I'm going to say LSU wins the SEC, so I think LSU is in. I'm going to say Notre Dame just because I don't think anybody else. Maybe Oklahoma. Then the
Oklahoma, I can see.
And then
Oklahoma.
whoever wins the Big Ten, Ohio State or Michigan, I'm going to say Ohio State. But let's give some love to UCF. Come on. They're ranked 12th. They're undefeated. They play a couple decent teams.
I know.
They beat Auburn bad last year, though.
I'm going to be taking Michigan because I feel like Jim Harbaugh has this team going the right direction with the quarterback in Shea Patterson, which he's never had since he's been to Michigan. Their defense is top 5 in total defense, and they have played some really good games. Their only loss was to Notre Dame in Notre Dame at the season opener. It's a hostile environment.
Are you picking Michigan to win it?
I'm not picking Michigan to win it. I think Michigan will get into the playoff.
Well, they lost to Notre Dame.
So fair.
It's a season opener. Jim Harbaugh likes to schedule hard out-of-conference games, so his team will be ready when he has to get deep into conference play.
Didn't work out too well for him.
I bet they get in.
What?
If they win out, they're going to win.
Well, if they win out, yeah, the winner of the
They're
Big Ten
definitely gonna
gets
get
in.
Yeah. But
And Ohio State just lost to Purdue. It's definitely wide open. I think they can get in.
it's wide open.
You know what? Ohio State did
Georgia
lose
can
Bosa.
make
I'm
that
gonna
push
I'm
in.
gonna flip. It's not even my. I'm gonna flip to Michigan actually.
No,
I forgot
no.
about they lost Bosa.
Yeah, but they also lost to Notre Dame.
But they lost to Purdue.
Notre Dame's
and
undefeated.
Purdue is bad. Purdue is bad.
They're not that bad.
They're not that
They're
good.
not
They're
that bad.
They're not good though.
Oh,
Wow.
We're still going. Georgia. I'm sticking with Georgia.
Why
Georgia
Georgia?
as my team?
'Cause
Why
they-
Georgia? Jake Fromm. He is probably the best NFL prime quarterback in college football right now with size, arm strength.
Okay,
He's
but just
got-
because you're going to be a good NFL quarterback, Josh Rosen, like 3 years ago when he was a sophomore, people were like, he's going to be the #1 pick, and he fell to what, 10 or 12?
10. It was 10.
And he's not playing that great right now.
I don't
mean,
remember
just
that
'cause
many
you-
people saying Josh Rosen was. I remember Josh Allen.
No,
Josh Allen.
Look
he's
at
not
Josh
that
Allen.
bad.
Josh Rosen's
That's all that we've got for this entire show here. So that was the big crunch. You guys are making this tough on me. I'm stressed out. I'm going to give this one to Blake. I think he made good points. I think he made a good argument with the quarterbacks. And coming up after the break, we'll find out who our winner of this week's show was.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire.
There.
How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome to Husky Tonight.
Yesterday, I just polished off a whole pack of Capri Sun, and tonight, I'm whipping out the hard stuff. Danimals. How can you do that? I banged the thing!
Hockey ain't even a real sport.
I'm sorry, bud, but you're gonna have to make like Toronto and leave.
You wanna hear fat?
What's your name? I don't know.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Only two of us left, and since I'm the host, that means Blake is the winner. Blake Tyson with the epic comeback. He didn't get any points in the first round and then comes out of nowhere and sweeps it out here. He gets the big crunch of the day. Blake, the floor is yours.
Call me a Cinderella story on the comeback, and I'm going to talk about another team that I want to be a Cinderella story so bad, and that's UCF. I talked about it earlier. They're ranked 12th in the nation. They beat Auburn last year in their bowl game, showed that they can hang with a top 10, top 15-ish team in the nation. Give them some love. They play Cincinnati. They're 7-1. I know they're Cincinnati, and I know that they're probably not actually 7-1 good if they played in the SEC, but give them some love. They've got the longest winning streak in college football right now, and come on, I just want to see it.
Why don't they get enough love?
Because they're not a Power 5 conference team, so you know they don't get the love that they really deserve. Give them some loving, College Playoff Committee. Give them some loving.
You heard it here first. Why do you think they deserve the love, though?
Because I just think that they've won, what are they at? I don't even remember what they're at right now, but they've won so many games in a row, and they've proven, only once, granted, but they've proven they can beat a top 10 team. They're undefeated. Just give them a shot. Give them a shot. You put Washington in last year, granted they're Pac-12, but.
Well, you heard it here first. Give UCF some love. Come on. That's all we got this week for Crunch Time. We'll catch you back here, same time, same place next week.
I want some more.
What's he doing?
Please, sir, I want some more.
More? He has asked for more!
Thank you.
Well, he did say please.
Yes, he did. And thank you.
Please, and thank you. Pass it on.
Thank you.
Week in Review starts right now.
Welcome to Week in Review,
where we take a look back at the top stories of the week.
My name is Ben Henry. Alongside me is Emilio Ramos.
Well, the temperature is not that cold, even though it is snowing like crazy.
On WCHA conference rival, Bemidji State.
Thank you for joining us for UTBS News Week in Review. We'll see you back here Monday at 4:30.